The truth doesn't hide forever. From whispers to breaking news. This is Now You Know News, your front row seat to the world's darkest stories. Andrew Gosden was 14 years old when he walked out of his house on a quiet September morning and never came back. It was Friday, September 14th, 2007. Andrew put on his clothes, packed his bag, said goodbye to his family like it was any other school day. Nothing rushed, nothing strange. But Andrew never made it to school. Instead, he walked to the train station alone. No note, no phone call, no explanation. At 9:35 a.m., Andrew bought a one-way ticket to London. Not a return, not a day pass. One way. He paid in cash. He declined the return ticket the clerk offered, and he boarded the train by himself. CCTV would later confirm it. Andrew sitting quietly, hands folded, staring forward. Not scared, not hurried, just calm. At 11:20 a.m., the train arrived at King's Cross Station. Andrew stepped off, walked into the crowd, and vanished. No sightings confirmed after that moment. No bank activity, no phone pings, no messages sent. Just a boy who disappeared in plain sight. To this day, no one knows why Andrew went to London, or what happened after he arrived. And the question that haunts this case isn't where he went. It's why he left at all. Andrew Gosden didn't fit the profile people expect when a child disappears. He wasn't troubled. He wasn't acting out. And he wasn't trying to escape anything. By every account, Andrew was a quiet, intelligent kid. He loved video games, music, math. Teachers described him as gifted. Friends described him as shy but kind. At home, nothing seemed wrong. No fights, no warnings, no emotional goodbyes. The night before he vanished, Andrew ate dinner with his family, watched TV, went to bed. Normal. The next morning, he left for school like always. But there was one detail no one noticed at the time. Andrew didn't put on his school uniform. Instead, he wore casual clothes, black jeans, a band t-shirt, and his favorite hoodie. He also left his phone behind, charged, working, still in his bedroom. Andrew took his backpack and withdrew nearly all the money from his bank account, £200, cash. This wasn't impulsive. It was planned. But planned for what? There was no search history pointing to trouble, no messages asking for help. No online trail suggesting he was meeting someone. And yet, he chose London, alone. For investigators, that choice raised more questions than answers. Because Andrew didn't know London well. He had no confirmed contacts there, and no clear reason to go, which meant one of two things. Either Andrew believed something important was waiting for him, or he believed there was nothing left behind worth staying for. And the most unsettling part? No one noticed he was missing until later that day. By then, the trail was already cold. Andrew Gosden arrived in London just before noon. No hesitation, no visible fear, no one walking with him. Security footage shows him stepping off the train at King's Cross. He's carrying his backpack, wearing headphones, blending into the crowd like he's done this before. But here's what stands out. Andrew doesn't look lost. He doesn't stop to check signs, doesn't scan the room, doesn't hesitate. He walks forward, with purpose. And then, he disappears. No return ticket. No recorded exit. No confirmed sighting after that moment. Investigators later realized something chilling. King's Cross CCTV was only stored for a limited time. By the time police requested more footage, from streets, buses, shops, it had already been erased. That window, those missing hours, may have held the answers. Police explored every angle. Did Andrew plan to meet someone? Was he lured? Or did he go to London for a reason only he understood? There were theories. A concert, a gaming event, an online connection, but none were ever proven. Then there was the money. Andrew spent almost nothing. No hotel, no meals, no tickets, no trace, which raised a terrifying possibility. What if Andrew didn't plan to come back? His family clung to hope. They believed Andrew might still be alive, living quietly, starting over. But years passed. No bank activity, no confirmed sightings, no answers. What remains isn't just a missing boy. It's a question that refuses to fade. How does a child vanish in one of the busiest cities in the world, without leaving a single trace? For Andrew's family, the days after his disappearance were a blur. Shock, fear, and one burning belief. Andrew would not have run away. Andrew was quiet, intelligent, routine-driven. He walked home from school the same way every day. He never skipped class. He never stayed out late. So when police suggested he might have just left, his parents pushed back, hard. But early decisions shaped everything. Police initially treated Andrew as a runaway. That meant no immediate national alert, no rapid CCTV sweep, no urgent tracing of his movements beyond the train station. By the time the case was escalated, Tom was already gone. Then came the questions that didn't sit right. Why was Andrew allowed to buy a one-way ticket when the return fare was cheaper? Why wasn't his refusal flagged? Why did no one at the station notice a 14-year-old traveling alone, with no phone, no coat, and no clear plan? Another detail haunted investigators. Andrew had left his PSP charger at home. Not packed, not forgotten. Left, which suggested something chilling. He didn't expect to need it. Police examined Andrew's digital life. His computer, his emails, his online activity. They found nothing. No secret accounts. No online grooming. No hidden conversations. Just silence. Years later, police admitted mistakes were made. Opportunities lost. Footage erased. Leads delayed. But by then, Andrew had been gone too long. The case stalled. And the question shifted from "Where is Andrew?" to something far more unsettling. Did someone see him and never come forward? Because in a city like London, someone always sees something. As weeks turned into months, the silence became unbearable. Then the sightings started. A boy who looked like Andrew, on the underground, near a fast food restaurant, outside a park. Each tip sparked hope, and each one faded just as fast. Police followed every credible lead. They reviewed transport footage, interviewed witnesses, tracked timelines. But London is vast, and Andrew had stepped into it without a trace. One sighting cut deeper than the rest. A woman reported seeing a boy matching Andrew's description, sleeping rough in a park. He was alone, quiet, and when approached, he ran. The report was never confirmed. No photo, no name, no follow-up sighting. Just another maybe. Years passed. Andrew's face aged out of missing posters. The trail went cold, but his family refused to stop looking. Then, more than a decade later, the case shifted again. In 2021, police made a surprise announcement. 2 men were arrested in connection with Andrew's disappearance. The public held its breath. Finally answers? But the arrests didn't lead to charges. No evidence was enough. No connection could be proven. The men were released. For Andrew's family, it was a cruel return to silence. Hope, followed by nothing. And the most painful truth remained. Andrew Gosden had vanished into one of the busiest cities on Earth, and never been seen again. With no body, no crime scene, and no confirmed sighting, Andrew's disappearance became a case built on theories. The first theory was the simplest, that Andrew ran away, but it never fully made sense. He didn't pack clothes. He didn't take his charger. He left money behind, and he never accessed his bank account again. Friends said Andrew wasn't unhappy. Teachers said he wasn't troubled. Family said nothing felt wrong the night before. If he planned to disappear, why leave everything that would help him survive? Another theory followed quickly, that Andrew was lured. Investigators searched for online contact, chat rooms, emails, gaming platforms. But Andrew had no social media, no known online friends, no trace of secret conversations. Still, the possibility lingered. Someone could have approached him in person, on the train, at the station, in the city. Then there was the darkest theory, that Andrew met someone who meant him harm. London offers anonymity. A child alone can vanish into noise and motion, without leaving a ripple. No witnesses, no struggle, no sound. But one detail continued to trouble investigators. Andrew bought a one-way ticket, not because it was cheaper, not because he didn't know how trains worked. He was offered a return. He refused it. That choice suggested intention, not panic, not confusion, a decision. Where he planned to go, or why he believed he wouldn't need to come back, remains unknown. While theories filled the internet, Andrew's family was left with silence. His parents replayed the morning again and again. The sound of the door, the quiet house. The moment they realized something was wrong, they searched his room for clues. Nothing missing. Nothing packed. Nothing that explained why a boy would leave without a word. His father, Kevin, spoke openly about the pain. Not knowing is worse than grief. Because grief has an ending. Uncertainty doesn't. Every reported sighting brought hope. And every dead end reopened the wound. Someone thought they saw Andrew on the street. Another claimed he was living abroad. Others said they'd spoken to him years later. None of it ever held. Birthdays passed. Holidays came and went. Andrew stayed 14 years old. The family refused to let his story fade. They gave interviews. They corrected rumors. They reminded the public of one thing again and again. Andrew was not a runaway. He was a child. And as years turned into decades, one question never stopped echoing. If Andrew didn't leave to disappear, then where did he go? For years, Andrew Gosden's case sat in the background. Unsolved. Unspoken. Unchanged. Then, quietly, it moved again. In 2019, police announced they were re-examining Andrew's disappearance. Not as a runaway, not as a simple missing person, but as a possible crime. They revisited old technology, phone records, internet activity, devices that hadn't been fully understood before. Then, in 2021, something unexpected happened. 2 men were arrested. One on suspicion of kidnapping, another on suspicion of human trafficking. For the first time in years, there was movement. Hope returned, cautiously, but the moment passed as quietly as it arrived. Both men were released. No charges filed. Not enough evidence to move forward. Investigators didn't say much after that, only that the case remained open and active. What stood out wasn't what police said. It was what they didn't. They didn't rule anything out. They didn't dismiss foul play, and they didn't say Andrew chose to vanish. Which means, after all these years, something about this case still doesn't sit right. And someone somewhere still hasn't told the truth. Andrew Gosden was 14 years old. He didn't leave a note. He didn't take his charger. He didn't say goodbye. He walked into a train station alone, bought a one-way ticket, and stepped into a city that swallowed him whole. No confirmed sightings. No phone calls. No trace that explains why. What's left isn't a mystery filled with chaos. It's a mystery filled with silence. A boy who did everything right. A family who never stopped waiting. And a moment that changed everything. Andrew's parents still believe he wanted to live. That he didn't run from his life, but towards something he couldn't name. Police say the case is open. Not forgotten. Not abandoned. Just unfinished. Somewhere, someone knows what happened. A conversation never shared. A decision never explained. A truth that stayed buried. Andrew Gosden isn't remembered for how he disappeared. He's remembered for who he was. A quiet boy. A brilliant mind. A life that never got the chance to unfold. If you know something, speak. Justice for Andrew Gosden.